Hi, too. Dre here. The other day I was bored and I was looking for something to read on the internet, and I don't remember how I got to it, but I come up on top 10 bad driving habits that damage your car. Okay, today I found that by just putting in 10 bad things to do about your car. Anyway, it's the first thing come up. Okay, ignoring the parking brake. They talked about you should always use a parking brake, even on level ground, because you can wear out your parking paw. On a steep hill, yes, level ground or a slight hill, just putting the parking brake on. I mean, just putting the thing in park is not gonna hurt the transmission. Like, I'm on a slight hill here, and my transmission is in park, and I don't touch the parking brake. You don't wear them out. They don't wear out, And here's another example of somebody who don't know much about transmission. I mean, they know a little bit, but not a lot. They don't know the whole story. You don't wear out a parking paw. You can break one, and I have broke. Actually, I didn't break the parking paw. I broke the gear. Well, I broke the gear shifter. It was on a new Volkswagen Jetta. One of my dumbass friends, when I parked the car on the hill, I pulled the parking brake up for that reason. He get in not knowing him better, just put the car in park, and it wouldn't come out of park. Well, it ended up breaking the freaking gear shifter. Luckily, it was a stolen car, so I didn't really give a shit. I mean, actually, I was still mad because it was a nice ass Jetta. But anyway, so it is possible to break the parking paw. So if you park on a steep hill, yeah, you need to put your parking brake on first, then put it in park. Is what I usually tell people. Don't just. I used to tell this lady this all the time. She didn't believe me until one day she broke the freaking parking brake cable. I used to tell her all the time, don't jam it down, because you're putting a bunch of unnecessary weight on it. What you do is put the car in neutral, press down on the parking brake. Press down a few clicks until it get hard. Take your feet off the brake. Leave the car in neutral, not drive or reverse, just neutral. Ease off the main brakes. If the car roll, press one more click. If it still roll, press one more click. When it don't roll no more, you can then put the car in park. That'll keep you from breaking the parking brake cable, because they will break. They will break. Even some of the newer cars will break. But this particular lady that I told to do this, that took too much time. She's in a hurry. She's always in a freaking hurry, and she didn't have time to hear that. Well, until her freaking parking cable broke. Then she wanted me to fix it. I looked at it. It was harder than I wanted to mess with, so I told her I didn't know how to do it. If she had broke it, and I knew that she wasn't jamming it down, I would have fixed it. But, that's another thing. All right, the next thing is shifting into drive or reverse without making a complete stop. Yeah, that's 100% true, especially if you got a 4L60E. If you throw the sucker in reverse while rolling forward, or you throw it into 2 while rolling backwards. First gear, I mean, it'll hurt it, but the main thing is, put it this way, the main thing is not to put it in reverse while rolling forward. 4L60Es do not like that. That sun shell, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you people heard about the sun shell. That will break that sun shell. It's real easy to break. All right, riding the clutch. Yes, that will burn up the clutch, and I see a lot of people do that. Well, you don't see that many mistakes anymore, but you used to see that a lot. I was in traffic one time. Actually, this is recent. I was in traffic. I was gonna make a video about this too. I was in traffic, and a guy was in a new. I was in traffic, and a guy was in a brand new Mustang GT. Had loud pipes, and it was getting on my freaking nerve because he just kept over revving the engine, and we was in stop and go traffic, on the expressway. And I've driven new Mustangs. You don't have to give them suckers gas to pull off. I mean, to creep up, you can just ease off the clutch. I mean, they got a lot of I don't know, is it torque or low gearing or what? But the point is, hell, I test drove a 2015. And I was pulling off without any gas, just easing off the clutch. And I mean, you don't have to granny it either. Just ease off the clutch and the damn car will go. But yeah, that will burn up clutches. Also, it talks about people sitting on hills and they use the clutch and gas to keep the car in one spot. Yeah, I admit it makes you feel good when you can keep your car in one spot by using the gas and the clutch, but you wear out the clutch. You wear it even at low RPM, because I do it at low RPM, but you still wear out the clutch. All right, next thing. Regularly adding small amounts of, this is what I was to make the video about. This right here pissed me off. This is number 4. Regularly adding small amount of fuel to gas tank. They said, this is another example of somebody who don't know what they're talking about. They said that when you ride your car low in fuel, there's not enough gas. The electric fuel pump is cooled by the fuel splashing up on it. So when you riding around low on fuel, you don't have enough gas to splash up on the fuel pump. That is complete bullshit. Complete bullshit. I'm gonna tell you why. I found this out on YouTube. Look on YouTube, AirTech fuel pumps. And all fuel pumps work like this. I was surprised to hear. Do you know fuel actually goes through the electric motor? Yes, it does. It goes when it's in the tank. The fuel pump sucks it up through the screener. It goes through the electrical part of the fuel pump and comes out the top. I kid you not. Well, anyway, that fuel cools that motor. What I was gonna say. So whether or not you got a full tank of gas or you on empty, as long as you got fuel going through the fuel pump, it's cooling the fuel pump. It's cooling it. So that person don't know what the hell he's talking about. And for those people who believe that riding around on low fuel, the pump will suck trash off the bottom of the tank. Whether you full or empty, the screener sits on the bottom of the tank. So it's going to suck whatever's trash on the bottom, whether you full or empty. So again, that person don't know what the hell they're talking about. Riding the brake downhill. I got no problem with that. I agree with that. I used to drive for a company delivering auto parts. I drove like a bat out of hell. Everybody knew I drove like a bat out of hell. But how about this old white guy? Well, he wasn't really old, but this white guy named Dan, who was kind of slow. Dan used to wear out brake pads. His car always had to have brake pads on it because he ride the brakes. I rode behind him one time. I about went crazy riding behind that fool. I mean, if a car looked like it was gonna stop, he would hit the brake. And I'm not talking about touch him, you see the back end jump up every time. I had to get the hell on. I couldn't follow that fool. I couldn't follow Dan. All right, sudden stops and takeoff waste fuel. Yeah, I agree with that. Using the shift lever as a hand rest. He was talking about manual transmission, resting your hand on the gear shifter. He was saying it wears out the synchronizers. How you gonna wear out the synchronizer if it's in gear? If the transmission is in gear, how you gonna wear out the synchronizer? Then he said you wear out the bushings. I don't think so. You usually wear out the bushing from doing a lot of shifting. Just resting your hand there. Again, this person didn't really know what the hell he was talking about. Carrying heavy loads you don't need. I agree with that. I used to date a big old fat girl, and I drove a Volkswagen Bug. I kid you not. Back then I didn't notice how much fuel the car burned, but I did notice this. It happened to me a bunch of times before I realized what was going on. I would, she lived on a hill. And whenever I come to pick her up, or if I brought my friend over her house, I was in my Bug, I'll pull off from the stop sign, I would go to second gear and I make a left turn and have to go up a steep hill. Well, whenever I was by myself or my friend who was skinny was in the car with me, I would go up that hill and the bug would pull the hill in second gear, no problem. Well, I noticed that every time she was in the car and I would go up this hill in second gear, the bug would chug out. And it happened like 10 times before I realized it was her weight. The girl was about 300 pounds. I was 300 pounds, so that's 600 pounds in the Volkswagen Bug. You know they only have like 50 or 60 horsepower or something like that. 600 pounds, a lot of weight for 60 whatever horsepower. So yeah, weight will make a difference. I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and they sort of kind of didn't believe me. You know, just say like I have a Tahoe, 96 Tahoe. It holds 30 gallons of gas. You know, you have some people who believe that if you fill it up, you can go farther than if you, just say if you fill up with 30 gallons of gas, you can go farther than if you put 5 gallon here, 5 gallon here, 5 gallon there, 10 there, 15 there. Some people believe you can go farther. Well, I mean, if you put the same amount, you would actually go farther by putting, well, not really, because you have to stop. Put it this way. They talk about weight, right? I say a Tahoe will burn less gas riding around with 10 gallons of gas in your car than you would riding around full 30. Why? Because 30 gallons of gas, 30 times 7 is what? 210. That's 210 pounds, okay? 10 gallon gas, that's only about 70 pounds. See the difference? So you burn less gas with 70 pounds of fuel than you would with 210. But to be honest with you, you come out better just filling up, because you got to stop to get gas. But give you something to think about anyway. If you get what I'm saying, I believe you burn less gas with 10 gallons of gas than you would with 30. But anyway, improper warming up of your car. Here's another place where he said, oh, it takes, let's see, I don't want to hold you up. Actually, I don't think this is the same one I read. Well, I guess it is, because it seems like it. Okay, I might be reading the wrong one. I could have sworn he said exactly how many it takes a minute to for the oil. Yeah, it does. It takes a few minutes. Well, anyway, warming up your car when it's improperly warming up your car. Okay, you actually, I think I made a video for this. You can crank your car up. Some people say it takes a minute for the oil to circulate. It doesn't take that long. It really doesn't. It only takes a few seconds for the oil to circulate. Believe me, all through the motor. I don't give a damn how big your motor is, how many valves you got. It don't take that long for the oil to circulate. You got to remember, the oil is moving pretty fast. So it does not take a minute for the oil to circulate. It doesn't take 30 seconds for the oil to circulate. It really doesn't. But when you crank an engine up cold, especially when it's cold, you don't need to rev it up high. You don't need to rev it up high. You can crank up, just like you crank up the car. You let it run. I usually let the RPM drop down a little bit. If it don't take too long, put it in gear and drive off. Just drive slow. Not necessarily like an old lady. Well, drive like an old lady until the car warms up. All right, next thing. Oh, number 10 was like ignoring your car when your car is trying to tell you stuff. Well, most of you people can't tell when your damn tire's flat. So there you go. Anyway, I just want to make a little video. Mainly, you know, this video wasn't supposed to be this long. It was supposed to just been about the transmission and the clutch thing. But anyway, that's my little 2 cents. And like I said, y'all can go look at it, read it on your own. But anyway, this is Dre. I'm getting ready to go work on my Tahoe. Y'all have a good day. Bye.